You guys ready? Good evening. I'd like to call to order this public hearing for the revision of the 2025-26 budget. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any discussion, public comments? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okay. Now, I would like to call to order the business meeting of the Cave Creek Unified School District. It is 6:01 p.m. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 2.3, roll call. Members of the board present in person are myself, Member Fortney, and Member Moore. Member Walker is connected by phone, and Member Ulmer is not available to attend. Members of the cabinet present are Dr. Hendrickson and Dr. Pletnick. 2.4, formal adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any changes?
Yeah, I wanted to pull out 4.3.
4.3. And where do you want to put it?
Just put it after actually
Okay.
gets that.
Okay. Any other changes? All right. All in favor of the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. 2.5, President's Report. Well, since our last meeting, there's been a lot going on. I had the opportunity to attend the band concert at Cactus Shadows. I was also at the Inspire Excellence evening, and congratulations to all who were recognized, and thank you all for your service. I attended the hoedown at Horseshoe Trails, which is always a lot of fun, and when Dr. Regan was here, I had the opportunity to escort her around the campus and introduce her to all of our schools, and she got some great tours of all of our campuses. And so that's what I've done. Anybody else care to?
I did get to go to the Inspire Excellence Awards, and that's always great, and it's always good to see people that are getting recognized in the community and our staff, so congratulations to all of them.
I too went to the Inspire Excellence. Congrats to all the staff and community members that were recognized that evening. Obviously, I think for next year we've got to do a really good job at getting more people to come and celebrate the many staff members that were awarded in these scenarios, so we'll try and do a little bit better job there next year. Also had a chance to attend the Night of Excellence, 40 years of Kiwanis' Giving. It's exciting to see Kiwanis support our community and our students here at Cactus Shadows as they venture on into furthering their education. Also had a chance to go to the Maricopa County School Board meeting where CCUSD was actually recognized for some of its allocation of spend, given the fact that we put 62.7 to classroom, overall 37% to non, and 12.2% was actually the allocation to admin. So they were impressed with how we manage against some of the other districts. So that was a nice takeaway to finally hear something I like to say positive about CCUSD. So that's what I got.
Very cool. Brianna, do you have anything?
I too attended the Excellence Awards and also the Kiwanis Awards as well, also our Senior Awards. It's definitely a fun time of year. Also did make it to softball and baseball playoff games. I know they both had games this evening, and I'm out of town, so I have no idea how they went, but best of luck to all of our spring sports as they're wrapping up and competing in state.
Awesome. Thank you. Item 2.7, District Update. Dr. Pletnick.
President Greer, members of the governing board, and Member Walker, I'm about to give you a little sports update that I do have. I'm pleased to announce that Cactus Shadows Jr. Allison Reamer is the 2026 Division III Girls 800-meter state champion.
Wow.
So congratulations, Allison. Our track and field team is participating in the AIA Open Tournament this weekend, and we wish them the best in that. Our Lady Falcon softball team is battling Coconino High School today for the right to advance to the AIA state semifinals. The softball team is 17-3 overall in the 4A conference this season. So excellent job, softball. And the Cactus Shadows boys varsity volleyball team dominated their first playoff game last Friday, defeating Agua Fria 3-0. They're facing Solid Point High School in Tucson tonight in the quarterfinals. And then the Cactus Shadows baseball team has reached the AIA state semifinals. They'll play ALA Gilbert tomorrow night, and winning would have them advancing to the championship game Monday, May 18th. So good
Nice.
luck to all of our Falcons.
Very cool. Thank you very much. All right, item 3.1, our Carefree Cares Award. I would like to introduce Mayor Crane, who will be giving out some great awards.
Well, thank you, Madam President and board members. For the town of Carefree, it's just a great honor to be able to come up here tonight and just recognize 5 outstanding educators. It's been, I think, since December since we had a Carefree Cares presentation before the board. And since then, or if we look back, Carefree Hanukkah, the Cactus Shadows Honor Choir performed one night of Hanukkah. That was great. And then in about 2 weeks, the Imprints of Honor Club, formerly known as Veterans Heritage Project, will join us on Memorial Day on May 25th. And they've joined us since 2018 on Memorial Day. And if we look back on Veterans Day, they've been a great partner for the town since 2012. So the relationship between the town and the school district has just been outstanding, and we really appreciate that. And Carefree Cares, to me, is just a great opportunity to just strengthen that relationship and just recognize and thank the educators who are truly outstanding. So thank you for the opportunity for me to come before you tonight and do that. So we have pins, Carefree Cares pins, and some gift cards for all the recognized teachers.
Very cool.
So-
Well, thank you for being here. I have your list of awardees, so I will read them. From Cactus Shadows High School, Rob Reisner. So please come on down. From Sonoran Trails, Lazine Nolte. From Black Mountain, Emily Hill. From Horseshoe Trails, Alyssa Gould. And from Desert Willow, Sky Cooper. Now, for all of you who were just recognized, if you could please come forward so we could get a group photo, that would be great. And I'm going to move.
Get in there. Gang's all here. And I'm not competing with parents for pictures, so everyone is going to look right at me.
I'm gonna get you guys for the newspaper.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Crane. Item 3.2, the monthly financial update. Dr. Plotnick.
Right, President Greer, members of the governing board, this is our monthly financial update, and we'll start like we usually do with enrollment. So as you can see, again, this time of year, we typically see pretty stagnant enrollment. We are looking at, we are a couple students above on the elementary side, what we were last month. And then total enrollment, we're about 3 students below on that secondary side, including CCAOE and DSA. So as we show every month, you can see what our current enrollment, 3,380, and where we started the year after the 10-day drop period, and where the 100th day count is sitting at. Now, as we look at the withdrawals, again, very minimal, but we see what we're seeing on this is early graduations. So some of our CCAOE kiddos have graduated early, so they are included in that withdrawal report. And then, again, new enrollments, again, pretty much offsetting, pretty minimal, and you can see new enrollments, like we've seen the trend for the past couple months out of state coming in and moving in. And then, again, we had a couple of new pre-Ks for speech-only enroll, but they are included in that enrollment report. Breakdown per sites. And then after the enrollment, do you have any questions at all?
Nope.
Okay. Facility updates. So I do want to give a few facility updates. Mark Carvis, who had joined us a couple of months ago, who's our facilities director, he's been doing an outstanding job in identifying some cost savings. I shared with you in the Friday updates, switching some suppliers out and looking at just some more efficient ways to look at some of our expenses, including things like evaluating our trash service, especially as they're going up in price, just like everything else is going up in price at this point. But other items that I really want to just take note of is tennis courts lights are fixed. There's a couple of bulbs that have to be replaced, and the lights on Falcon Drive are working for the first time in quite a few years. So those are 2 major pieces I know that we've been trying to get done that got done this month. The other update is on Sonoran Trails Middle School. I know we've been talking about trying to find the smell in this classroom and where it's coming from. And Mr. Carvis, as I asked him to investigate, he was doing some exploring, including cutting some drywall and looking up in ceilings, and we believe we have found that root cause of a couple pipes coming from the bathroom up in the ceiling. So that problem should all be fixed. Hopefully, we checked on it today, and it seemed like it fixed the problem. So,
Is that a costly repair for us?
we did it in-house. So it was Mr. Carvis and his crew were able to get up there, cut the ceiling, replace the piping, patch the ceiling, and so very minimal cost for the district on that one, and we didn't have to wait for SFD.
Awesome. Very cool.
All right. Other updates is that transportation. Again, I oversee all the operations department, but a couple of big pieces. As we renew with the trust this year, we've had an increase in how much we're paying for our premium. But the nice thing is we reduced that amount because we did get rid of the inventory from the buses. So we were able to save 5 digits and have that savings in what we're paying the trust this year. So that inventory work that Ms. Suter and her crew did, it served us well. And then when we're looking at, we are going to be having to replace that underground tank. You'll see this in the budget presentation coming up. It is going to be a very expensive endeavor. Luckily, we have capital that we reserved from last year into this year that's going to be able to pay for that project. But that project is going to be somewhere around $700,000 to replace that fuel tank that is in the ground to an above-ground storage tank. And that is the end of that report.
How long will it take for the storage tank?
Depending upon when we finalize all of the plans, it's approximately a 20-minute or 20-week lead time we're moving to above ground storage. And so it's about a 20-week lead time just to have that fabricated. We are hoping that by the end of the year, if we get started in the next month or so, it will be done in November, December.
Okay.
And to be clear, we don't have an option on this. This is mandated by our friends.
There is zero option on this. As a matter of fact, the systems are failing to the point where the ADEQ, Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, we are on the phone with them on a weekly basis, giving updates. And it is time. Just as a reminder, this tank was put in the ground in 1985.
Wow. Okay, guess it's time for it to be replaced. Thank you. Item 3.3, Facility Use Agreement and Rates, presented by Dr. Pletnick.
President Greer, members of the governing board, this is our annual presentation of our rental rates. In the agreement, we did update the pricing. We changed the format, and the key is changing the format, and it actually looks very much like Paradise Valley's format. We simplified it where it's one page for all of the different classifications where they can look and reference rather than multiple pages throughout the facility use agreement. So you'll see that there are hourly rental rates, and you'll notice that some hourly rental rates dropped. And why would we reduce? Because we also added, just like PV, a utility charge. And that would be for specific areas that for rental, of course, there's areas that won't need utilities. But if you're renting a classroom, it is slightly higher different times of the year just based upon the need for AC. So when we went through that, what we changed some pricing and increased some pricing. Some pricing did remain stagnant within that pricing, like classroom rental in the non-hot part of the season is exactly the same as it was last year. But there are some changes to reflect just what our costs are and to make sure that we're covering our rates. And you'll also notice it's more of an a la carte item that we also added in respect to if they want cleaning service, we can add that cleaning service piece. And we also added a key deposit in case we have to loan out a key where no one can open and close facility, and we allow a key to go out. There's a deposit on that will be returned when the key is returned at that point. There's also a small application fee per site that we annually added. And that we looked at other districts such as Scottsdale that charge application fees.
Okay.
And again, I covered this already with the utilities varying by the time of the year. And again, it would be that rental hourly rate plus utility rate unless it's marked in the facility use guide that it doesn't require utilities. Any questions?
Okay. Item 3.4, Fiscal Year 2025-26 Budget Revision Presentation. You're up again, Dr. Pletnick.
I am. And now, the next presentation we're going to, President Greer, would be our budget revision. It is required, ARS Statute 15905, that we submit an adopted budget and revise it May 15th of each fiscal year. And you'll notice that there are other opportunities to revise a budget, and we've revised it multiple times this year. And just to give you a reminder, we proposed it in May, we adopted it in July. Revisions happened September 9th. One of the reasons is that we did not have the state budget passed. Therefore, we could not adopt on the final budget forms. That will be happening this year with what's going on in the state budget, so September revision next year will also have to occur, unless a miracle happens down at the state and the budget passes quickly. Then December 9th is an optional budget revision. We revised this year. We didn't need to. We were within 1% of our budget limit, but we still did a revision this year on December 9th. And then finally, the final budget revision on May 12th. Just looking at the different revisions in M&O that occurred this year, you can see there was a little bit of movement between the budgets, but as the students got in the seats and the butts got in the seats, we did see a decline. If you look at that September revision, once the final forms came out, the increase was given to us to $5,113 per student. You saw that December and May, our revenue control limit, which was on the far right, did have that decline. And that is directly related to that 100-day counts. Now, our capital budget, if we're looking at it, we did save that $992,000, which is going to save us for that fuel tank. So you can see our revised is just over $2.1 million in capital. And so we are going to increase the expenditures and the capacity for about $400,000 for the first half of that project. So that money is going to be used. Now, the one celebration we do have, if you can look at in 25, we had about $2.4 million in capital or district additional assistance. This year was about $2.2 million. In 25, that was the end of us continuing to move the $2 million over, and we only moved $1.2 million over this year. So you can see the difference in percentage that we were able to keep in capital for those emergencies like we're seeing today. All right, next step, the governing board approves the revised budget, and then I file the budget with the Arizona Department of Education. And future steps. And I like this little chart to show you. We have the budget revision. In June, you'll have my proposal, which then you'll have a budget adoption. July 1st, we begin the new fiscal year. June 30th, we end the year. So about 3 weeks into August, we end what we call our encumbrance period, where just the final purchases are coming in and we're paying for the final purchases, which leads to the annual financial report in October. And then we'll get our official how much money did we not use in our capacity in November, and revise the budget in December if needed. And one little quick reminder I do want to leave on with this. Remember, this budget is just how much capacity we have to use. That does not mean we are going to spend all of that money in the budget. It's just it allows us to spend up to that much money. And any questions?
Okay. All right, item 3.5, middle school athletics. And you're up again.
And I'm actually going to call up Miss Serino to help me out on this. And Miss Serino is dressed for softball right now, so I'm cheering on the Falcons down there. President Greer, members of the governing board, as you can recall, our old North Valley Conference, we were no longer invited. We were asked not to join that party anymore. So that sent our athletic directors and Ms. Serino scrambling for options of where our middle school could play athletics next year. And so I would like to stress is that it was not our choice. We were asked not to come back, and if you remember back, Superintendent Dolezal did state some of it was due to behavior between our folks and their interactions with Deer Valley. So this was, again, with that happening, this sent us in a scramble because schedules are beginning to be made for next year. So we had to find another option. And just putting it out there, they did a great job in looking for options. And again, at this point, we are asking to join, and we are saying, please welcome us in as new guests into your conference. It is not that we have our pick and choose. of places that we can go. And so I hope with this election that we don't have a reoccurrence of what happened with the North Valley Conference. And I hope there's a little lesson that was learned from that, you know, when we're guests in other people's houses, we have to act as guests.
Okay. Well said.
All right. So, Ms. Reno, if you want to introduce what the option that we have and the athletic conference is called.
Okay. Is it on?
Okay, you're good.
All right. Good evening, President Greer and governing board members and cabinet. So we, like Dr. Plutnik said, we did meet with 4 different groups, and we felt the best selection was to go with the Canyon Athletic Association. With this option, after listening to some different groups, we were able to provide our athletes at the middle school level with something as similar as what they had already experienced in their prior experience with Deer Valley. They will still get to compete in invitationals, in championships. We get to play at home. One of the options that we had, we would not be able to have any home matches or games. We would be doing all the traveling. Another option was that we would not have competitive athletics whatsoever. And then the third option was that we would not have as many options as what the CAA would provide for us. So we made the decision to go with the Canyon Athletic Association. So the available sports you can see on the screen, we're able to pretty much sustain what we currently have for our middle school students. In addition to going with CAA, this really prepares our student athletes for what they will experience at the high school with the AIA. So we also felt like that was a good balance for that preparation for what they will get at the high school level, which, as you heard with the superintendent's report, we've been extremely successful in our athletic program. In fact, side note, our softball team did win tonight to make school history, to make the semifinals ever. So exciting stuff to really partner alongside the great academics going on at that school as well. So back to middle school. So different teams and the playing time information. There's a combination of 6th and 7th grade teams, so that's also exciting. We can involve our 6th graders more than what we have been able to do. In the Deer Valley League, we only played middle school, so it was only 7th and 8th grade students. So with this, we'll be able to include our 6th grade students as well. Our 8th grade, they're kind of seen as the A team in this league, and so they'll be separated out from our 6th and 7th grade teams. The seasons right now, we're averaging around 10 games. Same thing for this league. 3 meets, that's a little less for cross country and track than what we currently do, but it's still something. And Coach Larson has a fabulous cross country track, I think that's what it's called, or I don't know, in the back of Sonoran Trails, so they can still practice and do their thing, maybe without as many meets. And then again, like I said earlier, we get to host versus what another option was that we wouldn't be able to do that. The seasons are approximately 2 months. Like I said earlier, we get to play in tournaments and championships. That wasn't an option with one of the others. We were joining another public school in which they have several other schools, so they didn't necessarily, they were fine with having extra games, but as far as including us in tournaments and invitationals, that was kind of what they do, and they wanted to keep that sacred to what they do within their own district. We're still with this model. We won't be providing transportation, so that worked well-ish, just with the complexities and issues that we have with our own transportation. That is moving forward what we have asked of cabinet that our parents would transport for our middle school athletes. And then most of the games would be approximately 25 to 35 minutes away from Cave Creek.
Which I would also like to say that is out of the three options of not intramurals, that was the lowest travel time out of all choices. The next thing, the cost structure, and I'm going to ask that as we go through this, and Ms. Reno goes through this, that that we listen to exactly what the cost structure is. I know in talking to some of the board members, there's concern that anonymous posts, of course, are going left and right, as we normally see. So Ms. Serino will actually provide the actual information for everyone.
So we are recommending that we raise the participation fee. We know that we're struggling financially, and we simply don't have the funds right now to cover the what-ifs. Right now, we couldn't get specifics based on we don't know how many students will be trying out for the different teams. And so what we know is that there is a yearly league fee of $1,075 a year. But then in addition, each sport, and it ranges on the different team, whether it's $250 or a max of $475 just to be a part of their league in addition to the $1,075. Again, the $1,075 is just a one-time thing, one-time charge, and then the others would be based on the team or the league.
And so let me make this clear. It's the cost to the district is $1,075 plus an additional fee for each sport to the district. So we pay that entry fee of that $1,075, and then as we choose basketball, it may be $475. Track may be $250 that the district is paying.
So another fee is referees. We would be in charge of helping with the referee fees. Travel fees, we also get to pay for them traveling up to Cave Creek or wherever they would go for that.
And let's point this out again. So we have the $1,075, the $250 to $475 per sport, and then we also have to pay as district, just like we have to pay AIA referee fees, but we also pay travel fees for them. But again, this is all that district paid amount that when we charge student fees that we're calculating for the student fee.
And what we didn't include in here, but it's a known that we still have to pay for our coaches, which we have the salary schedule for that as well. So we know we're going to need to charge more than $180 to make this work for our middle school athletes.
And so the fee would be in line towards our high school fee at that $335.
Correct. Benefits, again, I've talked about this, but we get to host. We have beautiful facilities up here. We're proud of what we have. We want people here. We want people to see what Cave Creek has to offer. So we get to host. We get to be a part. When Coach Larson, Mr. Boggs, and I spoke, it's like, we all said we've all been a part of a team, and to just play games but never get to play in a tournament, that's kind of the fun of it as well, or be a part of invitationals. So we really thought that was important, and for the record, we typically do pretty well as well. So that's kind of fun too. We also, the three of us, talk so much about what it means to serve the whole child and how important athletics is, and the camaraderie and being collaborative with one another and all of that. It just, CAA did it for us, and it really will get them prepared for what we're offering at the high school.
And so, yeah, the alignment and the research that Ms. Serino and the team did was outstanding in what options they presented. And again, we're looking for the best opportunity for our students. And this provides, again, that get high school ready opportunity, but also that exploratory opportunity where that sixth grade gets to participate in that sixth and seventh grade team. So it's a win for our students. And again, that's why this conference is what we chose. So the next steps with this would be approving the new fee structure for the middle school athletics, which would come in June. And then any kind of agreement we have with the athletic association, any contract is normal, I would look over. And if we do need to present it to the board, of course, that we will present it to our attorneys as well as the board.
Is that it?
Thank you.
You know, thank you for all the work that you put into this, because I know it was not a short process, and it was very time-consuming, and you did a fabulous job, and you covered all the bases, meaning all of the options that could be even a remote consideration. And I think you did an outstanding job of finding a solution that really incorporates all of the kids in middle school having an opportunity, and the sixth graders won't be sitting on the curb going, gee, I wish I was an older kid. And that's huge, because they're part of the school, they're part of the fabric of the community, and it's a big deal to give them that opportunity. And so thank you very much for what you did. You did a great job.
Well, and actually, he's not here, Coach Larson. You talk about a person who is all about the kids. He is the one who really put time into this. He gave the Cave Creek story on who we are, where this all started back in I should know the story because I heard it 4 times as we presented. I don't know, 1999, something like that. But that man is all about kids and trying to do what's best for kids. So he was the one who did the research for us and the one who broke things down to, make sure that we were talking and discussing the right things with these different groups.
Well, thanks to Coach Larson also, but don't sell yourself short, because you're pretty much all about the kids too.
All right, thank you.
One question though. Since we've been politely asked to remove ourselves from Deer Valley, is there ever an opportunity, would there ever be an opportunity to return, or is it we're gone for good?
I mean, I would like to think we never close doors, and we always search for the best opportunity for our students. So I'm sure in future there will be conversations of trying to rejoin if that's what's best for our students. And I think as we explore these new options, we can see and sometimes things happen for a reason, and maybe this shoe ends up being a better fit.
Yeah, you never know. So again, thank you. Okay. Item 4, action consent. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Item 4.3, which is, what is item 4.3? Human resource items. Okay. Administration is presenting for approval the attached HR items. Is there a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Hendrickson, you're up.
Administration recommends approval of the HR items as presented.
Okay, so I just wanted to call attention to one thing in here, the roofs of the 2 assistant superintendents, because I was not at the board meeting where they did do that. And so I just wanted to kind of say my piece about this, because I still don't feel that the second one was done exactly properly. We have a quote that these actions were put forth solely by the board, and there were things that were discussed. Obviously can't go into them because some of them were in executive session, but some things were discussed and agreed upon, others were not. And so I don't think that some of the RIFs were done with proper board input, and maybe with some incomplete or inaccurate data to fuel the vote. Now, the vote was done. It was 3-1. I understand that, and I don't want to hold up the other stuff that goes along with the HR. But I don't feel that this was done really properly. I would like to see it done a little bit more interactively if we're going to go and add people after we made our recommendations. So just want to say that, because in all due goodness, I don't think I would approve this, but I think there's other things that are dependent on that as well, and I certainly don't want to mess with those. But just wanted to put that out there, and if anybody else has anything to say about it, that would be fine, but just needed to bring that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item 4.3 passes. All right. We are now at public comments. So. Thank you. According to ARS 38-431.01, a governing board may make an open call to the public during a public meeting subject to reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions to allow individuals to address the governing board on any issue within the jurisdiction of the governing board. At the conclusion of an open call to the public, individual members of the governing board may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the governing board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. Members of the governing board shall not discuss or take legal action on matters raised during an open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. A speaker may offer criticism of school operations and programs that may concern them, but in public session, the board will not hear personal complaints about school personnel or complaints against any employees of the system. We ask the audience members to practice proper public meeting decorum, refraining from the use of speech or language that is offensive or inappropriate. Those that refuse to follow these rules may be asked to leave. All right, and with that said, our first speaker is Jamie Friedman. Now, I need to make sure that all of these folks are here. So, Sky Cooper, Kate Moms, actually, all of you who, could you just stand up so I make sure you're all here? All right, thank you. Jamie, you have 26 minutes.
Good evening, President Greer, Members Moore, Members Walker, Fortney. I think, is Olner on?
She's not able to be here.
4 years ago, I moved to this district and I took a job as an emergency sixth grade teacher in a classroom with 32 students, 17 of whom had learning differences. I worked unbelievably hard to teach all 4 subjects without a real curriculum, because anybody knows, and if you teach here at CCUSD, we don't actually have a real curriculum. So I busted my butt trying to figure out how to teach 4 subjects in something I'd never done. But luckily, I had this great principal, Kelly Z, and I had these incredible mentor teachers, Kirsten Wood, Megan Lynch, Sinova Peterson, and I was in this little school and it felt like this really great supportive environment, right? But it was definitely a bubble at DSA. I quickly realized that the reality of the district wasn't like that as a whole. Having come from a robust business background, can you believe that, Dan Moore? I actually do business as well. Then I understood, like, what is going on? I couldn't figure out what are these systems, what is happening in this district. But I could see that there was all this potential. It was like, oh, here's this beautiful district in the Sonoran foothills, which has great numbers, and yet there were no systems. So I was like, wow, this could be really great. We could do unbelievable things. And then I took a position at the high school teaching dual enrollment, and I loved every single minute of it. It felt like I was back in that world when I managed airports, where there were 1,000 people being moved in every direction, all going towards a goal. I found that our school was lovely. It was safe, it was clean, the kids were nice, the teachers were tenured, they were excellent. People were doing amazing things, right? And the administrative team, they cared. They actually did. It reminded me of growing up in a small town in Arizona where we had NASA engineers. The Phoenix Suns coach came from Holbrook. There were Flynn scholars. We had all this wonderful things going on, right? And that was the experience that I had. And I thought, okay, we could do this again, right? So I started meeting with people. I met with Mrs. Brella over and over again. How can we change the school? What can we do? How can we make it better? I started meeting with Dr. Jensen. What does it mean to have a great high school? We're already good. How do we get great? What can we do? It was hours. I joined the CCA because I don't believe in just doing the things. I took a freshman class because I said we're doing it wrong in English, and freshmen are hard, so let me teach one too, right? I did all the things. I was all in. Mrs. Varela and I spent hours and hours creating and devising a plan to make the school better. How can we bring rigor? How can we have better English? 2 years I did. We had so many ideas, so many plans. And then, so many plans, right? I researched about funding, and I was like, how can we keep the good teachers? I'm watching these incredible teachers. I'm seeing my kids have great teachers. I'm like, how can we get them better? They make no money. What can we do, right? What can we do to give teachers? And it was roadblock after roadblock. And then someone said, what? Maybe give them a 4-day. And I was like, oh, do people care? And they were like, yeah, we would stay. We would do it. I'm like, okay, that's a solution. It's not money, but it's something, right? And so I met and met. The people on the committee weren't convinced until they did the research, and then they were like, maybe this will keep people. And then we had these wonderful teachers that said, hey, if we don't do something, I'll probably leave. And then we had a superintendent that said, no 4-day. We're not doing it, no way. And we had a school board member that said, you know what, if we can't do a 4-day, we'll do a half-day on Friday. And without any input, we moved the half-day to Friday, the day that the teachers collaborate. And if you've ever taught 35 kindergartners, because that's what we have, or 40 seniors in high school, let me tell you what you want to do on Friday at 1:30. Not collaborate with your peers. That's not what you're going to do, and it's not going to be good. And so we took the time from our teachers, and we put it on a Friday, and the parents loved it because, hey, we all get out early. I got to be honest, as a parent, it was great. But it was terrible for academics, right? But I still had hope. I was like, okay, we got this. We're going to get better. We could still do this. This year started out great. We had a staff that was engaged. We had a principal that, yes, was she the greatest every single minute? No, but she had learned and she reflected and she had gotten better, and people were talking about it, right? We had tenured assistants. We had all sorts of things going on. We were doing amazing things. We moved as a school our ACT test scores from 2021 from 44 students meeting the requirements to 363. Do you know how hard that is to move ACT scores? And yet we did it because we had good teachers and they cared and we had good people in place. We even, thank you to Kiwanis and Charles, we remodeled a library this year. We took a building that nobody was using, and God help us, after 125 hours of my own self moving books, we now have a student union that kids are enjoying. They're loving it. It's bright, it's light, and we had the community partners to help us do that. It was beautiful. Right? If anyone has ever worked or taught with students, or adults or anyone, we know that humans crave consistency. They need it, okay? We were finally starting to see that at the high school. Sorry, my throat is, I've been sick because I teach 176 kids, seniors. We saw these consistencies, and we were seeing it at all levels, right? Teachers were talking about next year, all of the good things we could do. And then we let a tiny group of parents who cared more about their own kids, not about the whole group, but we let this group of parents who didn't care about rigorous courses tell us that a chemistry course in 2 weeks in the summer was better than that guy. And it's not. It just isn't. And so we went with that, right? And we let this little group of people and angry parents, we let them control the narrative. We gave them all this power. There's a niche Facebook group that, don't worry, I'll post this tonight because that's the only thing that gets any power. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about academics. We didn't worry about academics, right? And we let our principal get pushed out, and God help it, it was bad. It was bad every month here. We let her get just, and I wish the best for her. So that's where we were, right? But still, I had hope because I'm an eternal optimist. I thought it would get better. And so Mr. Reno came in and we were like, okay, we've got this again. We're going to help her. We're going to do the thing, right? We kept moving forward. We really believe in our kids. If you're a teacher and you've been at high school, again, it's nice, it's clean, it's safe, there's nice kids. And then we saw the consistency that we needed disintegrate literally before our eyes. We had parents that questioned the rigor. We had all of these things against us, right? And then, unbeknownst to us, we had a school board, the final blow, in an unexpected move, which was obviously made on their own. Thank you, Mr. Fortney, for speaking up for us. An unexpected move got rid of the assistant superintendent to education and HR, the people that actually run academics and the people that hire teachers and support them. They literally fired them, called them and said, okay, you're going to get fired, or we'll just not renew you. Cool. And the teachers rallied, and they're like, what's going to happen? We don't have academic. We already didn't. And now you took the 2 people. And regardless of what you feel about people personally, these are positions that we need, that we really, really need. And we got thrown out in an hour and a half. We all sat here. What happened? We have no academics, and we have nobody to call. Don't worry, Dan Moore told me. Don't worry, Jamie. We have a plan. I don't know what the plan is. There are 30 things that I have questions about. There is no plan. You've taken all the consistency. We don't know who to contact. We don't know what to do. Because the people that are supposed to help us and support us as teachers, you know what? They don't work here anymore. And in addition to that, even though they know and they're ethical and they're going to do it, they don't feel comfortable making a decision when they're not going to be here. So all these programs, all the things we worked for, all of the things, we don't know if they're going to last. I teach dual enrollment. 150 kids will get college credit. Last year, the numbers were 161. Okay, one of my students right here. 161 people got dual enrollment last year. This year, 397. Because Dr. Jensen said, you know what, let's get better teachers with masters in, and let's do better, right? Let's give them more rigor. And so we did. Those teachers won't be here next year because we don't have any liaisons. The assistant principal that was the liaison to PVCC no longer works here. The principal that supported us no longer works here. Oh, the assistant superintendent of educational services that made all these liaisons, guess what? She doesn't work here either. We will lose the programs that benefit our high school students, and they needed them. And that's what made us good. That's what made us better, right? This whole thing about consistency, we have to have it for our kids. Our high school went from innovation and forward progress and inertia to nothing, to non-existent, to inconsistent and hard, right? And a few parents started celebrating. They were like, great, this is great. They were celebrating new leadership and this non-existent plan. Cool, I get it. And it's, again, things change, we need change, that's great. But not having a plan is where we went wrong. And now there really is no plan. And it's been weeks where our teachers have said, what's the plan? And we get an AI email, that's awesome. But it doesn't give us a plan. We don't know who to email. We don't have bosses. Everybody's leaving. And we can't do our jobs, right? We also, for next year, have no institutional knowledge. I might go 26 minutes. We have no institutional knowledge, right? We don't have people, okay, if you've ever worked at any business, any place, the front desk, pretty important. They're the ones that know where the tissues are, which kid is a troublemaker, how to get to detention, how to find your uniform, who's absent, why are they getting DoorDash over the fence? Right? Those people just left. We literally don't have anyone in our high school that has any institutional knowledge for next year. And it matters. That matters, right? And the people that are there, God bless them, are really good and they're trying so hard. Everybody is trying so hard. But not having institutional knowledge matters to our kids. So today, I stand before you devastated, I'll try not to cry, that I have to resign my position. Because those people sitting there, they deserve better. My own children, all the children, that one, deserve better than what you've given them. And I can't sit here in a place. I said when I talked about that 4-day when we had to key teachers, I said, the spouses of the world, those great teachers that sat behind me, they're going to leave. And you know what? They are. They're leaving. She resigned. The science department is going to be struggling. There's no pipeline if we don't have the right teachers in math and science. And again, this is the last thing that I wanted to do. I love my job. I hope I'm good at it. 150 kids, 176 actually, because I took the freshmen too. I love what I do. It's my favorite thing. I finally found a place. Today, the kids were talking about how much they learned how to write a research paper. Nobody likes to write it, but they learned it, right? And so here we are. But I can't pretend anymore that this non-existent plan is working. This eternal optimism I have at some point is going to change because my kids deserve better. The kids in the seats that aren't my kids, that's why I stayed, they deserve better. But you guys made decisions with no plans. And now we're the ones that are suffering. And it's awesome to sit up there, and I know you care about education, and I know all the things, but you have to think through what you're doing when you take away the very people that are the plan, the very people that know all the things, that center education. We have never centered academics here, and that was clear, that we gave this small group of parents and this small group of people power. And they took it and ran, man, and they were good. And I can't figure out, was it on purpose to dismantle us all? Because if it was real good. But maybe it wasn't, and then that's even sadder, truly. And honestly, I pray for those that are staying, because those that are staying, those personal situations they don't afford like me. They can't afford to just move up and leave and take their kids. They don't have that luxury. But I really hope and pray that they get the support they deserve, because every kid in those seats deserves it. Every teacher that works here deserves that support, and we didn't get it. We have no consistency, no plans, nothing, no supports. And so I urge you, members of the board, going forward, I urge you to center academics, to listen to the educators, to listen to those that are actually willing to stay, right? Those people, and first and foremost, make this about the students, not about your power play or your ambition, or about the loudest darn parents that there are. Make it about the students, because they deserve better, because they're the reason that all of us are here. And while I hope you hear me tonight, and I appreciate your time, again, I'll share it on Facebook, but I hope you hear that this person here that fought so hard hour after hour after hour is devastated and sad. And I didn't want to leave this job that I care about and I love every single day. I hope I can make it to Senior Sunset. But to my fellow teachers here, to the supportive parents that are out there, to all my friends, to my kids, I'm sorry, to the 400 kids that I taught, I hope I did a good job. I want to thank you. I want to tell you that I saw you as a person. I saw you here. And for that, I'm so sorry. I want to thank you for trusting me. All of you who have listened to me, I'm sure, before this day speak, I will forever be grateful to you. To the board members that volunteer their time, I'm still grateful to you as well. But I'm just begging you, center academics, center the people that actually know the things, because that's how we get better. And right now, it's really hard out there, and we don't have the supports we need. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Marla Rainey, and Marla will have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. After that, this is hard. I'm going a different direction, Jamie. Sorry. I just want to take, as a middle school parent, I have a soon-to-be 7th grader, hopefully, and the work that the team had done on the sports, I'm involved with a lot of the sports families, and I just want to thank them. I think, giving gratitude when we can and acknowledging that, as President Greer, you did, is just really important. So as a parent, I just want to thank them all for all those efforts and giving our kids that opportunity next year. So thank you.
Our final speaker is Andrew Cupo, and Andrew will have 2 minutes.
I don't know how to follow that up, Jamie. So. Sorry. President Greer, members of the board, you all know me, but for the record, my name is Andrew Cupo. I'm here once again on behalf of the certified staff in Cave Creek as co-president of the Cave Creek Education Association, which represents more than 50% of the certified staff here in this district. Tonight, I'm here to express the disappointment and frustration felt across our certified staff, especially by the certified IBN team, who have spent countless hours this year working collaboratively with district leadership to address teacher concerns and improve working conditions. We participated and conducted surveys, analyzed data, discussed findings, presented recommendations to administration and cabinet, and spent months brainstorming and workshopping solutions in good faith with our administration. Then, after all that work, after all the delays, after everything we'd gone through, the process was effectively upended by recent leadership changes. We understand that change happens as educators. Monitoring and adjusting is part of what we do every single day. But perhaps the most frustrating part of all occurred just yesterday. My co-president, the CSHS site representative, and I were invited to meet with Dr. Plechnik and Dr. Regan to finalize negotiations and hopefully complete a master agreement that would provide teachers with much-needed clarity and certainty as they make decisions about returning to this district and signing their contracts for next year, which are due Thursday, apparently. Unfortunately, Dr. Regan did not attend this meeting. Once again, teachers were left out of the conversation, scratching our heads, wondering what can we do from here. At a time when the district is facing challenges with morale, retention, and trust, Teachers are asking for consistency, transparency, and partnership. Instead, many feel unheard, excluded, and uncertain about whether their voices truly matter in district decision-making. Our teachers have continued to show up for students every day despite these frustrations. We simply ask district leadership, whoever that is at this point, to show the same level of commitment, collaboration, and accountability to us educators. The teachers welcome any response at any time in the next 9 days prior to our contracts ending. Thank you.
Item 6, old business, there is none. Item 7.1, discussion and
Whoa.
okay, what?
Dr. Plutnik, can we sync up with Dr. Regan and reschedule a call so that they can have that conversation?
I will communicate with Dr. Reagan.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. Item 7.1, discussion and possible action to submit policy priorities for inclusion in the Arizona School Board Association 2027 political agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Since you've been our liaison, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, the 2026 political agenda for the ASBA is not dissimilar to the ones that we've had years past. Editorializing I'll keep to myself, but there's things that need to be done in the legislature, and this is what the ASBA is trying to do. Adequately and equitably fund district schools to the national median per pupil funding. That would take a huge investment in public education to get us up to the midpoint, because we are 49th. Thank goodness for Tennessee. To preserve, respect, and strengthen local control, improve opportunities and outcomes for students, require public accountability and transparency for taxpayer dollars spent on education. Again, that's taxpayer dollars spent on public education, rural schools and remote schools, school safety and security, and federal advocacy. So these are the things that they'll be prioritizing. We'll go through all the little bullet points when we meet in September. So if there's anything that we wanted to add to this, we could do that, but I think they had it pretty much covered this year. We did last year to get some things added. One of the recommendations that the board presented was put forth. Haven't seen a positive outcome for it, but ASBA is pushing for some of the things that we've been saying. So that's all I got.
Is it likely that the legislature is going to give public education any more money?
That's cute.
Are you asking me that?
Well, I'm just throwing it out there, whoever's here that would like to respond to that.
They're not prioritizing public education right now. They're prioritizing other things, education-wise. That's kind of a known thing up here. So we are not getting what we need. That's why we have to keep having the districts, not just us, but other districts, have to keep going out to our constituents asking for bonds and overrides because we're not getting properly funded. I don't see it happening this time. They still, they just presented the budget. It did not include Prop 123, which is a huge funding source for public education. That's not in there, so I don't hold a lot of hope for that, but hopefully they'll throw us a couple of scraps.
Okay, fair enough. Item 7.2, consideration and possible action to appoint a delegate to serve at the Arizona School Board Association Delegate Assembly. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I would like to nominate Mr. Fortney.
So moved.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Item 7.3, approval of revised supplemental transition services agreement with Dr. Nicole Regan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Just for transparency's sake, this agreement, it will run through June 30th, and Dr. Regan is expected to actually officially start on June 22nd. Because we can only have a 3-year contract, we have to have her on the supplemental services agreement. So we don't have to revise her contract mid-term in order to meet the state requirement. So, any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Upcoming calendar events. Dr. Pletnick.
It is that time of the year, and in a week from now, we kick off with the AOE graduation at 5 p.m. May 20th, we will see our Sonoran Trails promotion at 6 p.m. May 21st is the Cactus Shadows graduation at 6 p.m. And then May 22nd is that last day of school for everyone.
Awesome. One question, where's AOE graduation?
High school.
Cactus.
I think
Yeah.
it's Cactus.
In
Cactus
the lecture
Shadows.
hall? Okay. All righty. Item 9, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We are adjourned, and it is 7:07. Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you.